Hello. Yes, it's Michael from Best Before TV, or better known as the old git. I'm back, and time for another rant. I haven't made a video for a little week or two because I was having such trouble with my camera, flickering and flickering. I've got a new one now, and it doesn't flicker anymore. I'm having a bit of trouble setting the camera sound up, but it doesn't matter because it's working perfectly, so that's good. It cost me a lot more money, but never mind. I do this all for fun, as you know. Now today I have quite a few things to discuss, and this one might go on for longer than half an hour, but I'm sure that you'll appreciate what I'm doing. And the thing is, the whole world, or the whole of Europe, is going mad right now. Things are happening that shouldn't be happening, and the question is, and it's been for a while now, is about are countries in the West being taken over, i.e., for example, the UK. I'm talking about the UK specifically because that's where I come from, although I don't live there. As you all know, I live in sunny Spain, and it's really bloody hot today. It really is hot today, yeah. I think it's in, what's the temperature? Temperature, it says here, 25 degrees, but I'm going to tell you, I don't know where they're getting reading from. I've got the windows open, so if you hear some background noise, it's because I've got the windows open and I don't want to overheat. Okay, so let's get to it, shall we? Let's get to it. Well, first of all, I'm going to start playing a film or a little video, as I always do. I try to back up everything I say with things that are really happening, and this particular clip goes on for a while, but I'm going to talk over it and give you some facts and some figures, which I'm sure you'll appreciate as we go along. Now, as I've explained to you all before, I do this totally alone for nothing, and all the little gadgets and bits and pieces I have to put in on the fly and get them done. And it's not bad for a 71-year-old, but I've seen changes. I mean, I've got to get serious because I've seen things that are going wrong in the UK and in France and in Germany and various other European countries. They've been systematically taken over, and I think there's a fifth column army put itself in place, specifically because all those marches that take place on the weekends, you get thousands of people and it's all free guards, and people praying in the streets and people praying around Westminster on College Green. It's not all to do with Gaza, I can tell you that now. It's showing, it's a show of strength. It's showing the British government, to the British people, that they are taking control. They don't get penalised for it. They get away with it because the government is too lily-livered to take any action. That's my opinion, and that's how it is. But let's put some facts and figures. But I'm going to show you this clip, and as it's playing, I'll give you some facts and figures. But this is a street in London, and you make your own mind up and what you think about it. Well, here we are, and as you can see, right from the offset, you get the ladies walking around in their burqas, in the shopping centres there. You don't see the things that you should be seeing, which is lots of mixed race people, white people, black people. No, you're just seeing one typical type, and that's, of course, lots of Muslims. Oh, there's a white girl just walked past. But anyway, so let's get some facts and figures about this, and this is it. Now, it's difficult to get these figures because the reason being, the government seems not able to give you or keep up to date these figures. These are the ones that we want. But I've got some figures and things have changed. But in 2021, people who identified as Muslim had the lowest percentage of people aged 16 to 24 years in employment. 51.4% compared with 70.9% of the overall population. Now they say this is a result from high percentage of people who were students or looking after home or family. I'm not so sure that's the reason, but 51% of a particular group, they're going to say, oh well, we're downtrodden. We're not. I mean, most of them, lots of them drive big cars, they're out, I think they do work. A lot of taxi drivers and things like that, they do work and they earn money and they buy property. So think on. Now in June, I think it was June 14th in 2013, but we're looking at the fertility rates. Now the only figures I could find from 2005 to 2010, and the fertility rate of among UK Muslims is at 3, which means the average British Muslim has exactly 3 children in a lifetime, compared to 1.8 children for non-Muslim women. Now, according to this, by 2030, and I'm sure these figures are wrong because it seems like it's happening quicker than this, but by 2030, according to this official figure, the rate is predicted to fall to 2.5 Muslims, and it remains the same for non-Muslims and other ethnic people. So, for me, that can only say one thing. If you look at the amount of people that are walking around the streets now, you can see that there's many people there. The area is already full of people from the Islamic background. Is it bad? Is it good? Or is it the great takeover? Is it what the people want? Is it going to be turning your country, because I don't live there anymore, into another Islamic enclave? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But as you can see from that film that you're watching now, that it could turn out to be a problem, because you can't have a new enclave of people with different beliefs, different religion, all in one area of a country and dominate it, because that's like an invasion, isn't it? When the people go to, I live in Spain, I go to Spain, and here I integrate with what the Spanish laws are. I follow their laws, and I do as I'm told. I might disagree with things, like I don't like bullfighting, for example, but at least I can say I don't like bullfighting, but it's not my prerogative to try and change it, because I'm a guest in the country. And a lot of British people come to Spain and they're spread all over Spain, and basically that is it. So, just to kick us off, that's to show you just one street in London, which I'm sure to some people that you will find that quite shocking. Okay, so now we're going to move on, because bringing with them is something else. They bring with them other things apart from doing a lot of shopping. Right, that's that film. Now, the people who you're watching there, most of the people there were basically Muslims. Now, they brought their religion with them, obviously, and so they should. You're free to follow any religion that you want. Any religion at all that you want to follow, you can follow. And the mosque is the foremost place of prayer. And again, the figures may be out of date because it's so difficult to get these figures updated. Well, it is for me. I've tried my best. And there's estimated to be almost 2,000 mosques and Islamic prayer rooms in the UK, serving 4.1 million Muslims, or 6.3% of the UK population. Now, I think that figures have actually changed since this was these figures, what it is now, what date it is now. So it may be more, it may be less, I don't know, but 4.1 million Muslims go to their prayer places, which are mosques and prayer places. But about 1,500 of those mosques are located in London, as of that. Now these figures as of 2016. Okay, so 1,500 mosques in London, and as you know, they're calling for their own law. They're calling for Sharia law. Now, what does that mean? You see it a lot now. Sharia for England and Sharia for UK and all this stuff that they keep spouting about. So, what is Sharia law? What's it about? Shall we have a look, shall we? I've just got, you might find some of these images in this particular little clip. It's not a little clip. Discussing Sharia law in the UK. This clip was made by CCN or CNC, I'm not sure exactly who. I think they're a religious group. But what do they mean by they want Sharia law in the UK? This film can probably enlighten you a lot better than I can. And whilst you watch it, I'll have a slurp of my coffee.
Stoning for adultery, amputations for theft, death for apostates, and second-class status for Christians and Jews. This is life under Sharia law, the Islamic system practiced in countries like Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Great Britain. Yes, Great Britain. There are reportedly some 85 Sharia courts now operating there, with Islamic judges ruling on cases ranging from financial to marriage disputes among British Muslims.
We went into some proceedings, and there were a couple of Islamic judges sitting up above the rest, and there was one solitary Muslim woman who was suing for divorce.
Alan Craig is a former city councillor in East London, home to several Sharia courts where women face open discrimination.
A woman's witness value is half that of a man. So, you know, that they will tend, therefore, to take the man's position in a divorce.
Craig is working with Baroness Carolyn Cox to pass a bill in Britain's House of Lords protecting women from the Sharia oppression. Muslim women here face intimidation within their communities to settle things the Sharia way. And according to Craig, some wrongly believe Islamic courts are their only option.
But what we're trying to do is say Muslim women, especially in this country, need to be informed that they actually have other rights, in our view, better rights under English law.
Sharia courts operate outside of British common law. Their defenders say the courts are legal under a 1996 Arbitration Act that allows people to settle differences through methods of their own choosing. These courts have popped up in several British cities with large Muslim populations, including Birmingham, Bradford, Manchester, and London.
This is the Tower Hamlets section of East London, and it's really the epicenter of the Sharia movement here in Great Britain.
This impoverished borough of East London has been dubbed the Islamic Republic of Tower Hamlets. Its first elected mayor is a Muslim who critics say has ties to extremist groups. His office declined CBN News' request for an interview. Radical Muslims have threatened women here for not covering up, and gays have been beaten in the streets.
If people are afraid of having their hands cut, don't steal. If you don't want to be stoned to death, don't commit adultery.
Anjem Chowdhury wants Sharia law to rule Great Britain. Last year, his followers put up posters around Tower Hamlets labeling it a Sharia-controlled zone where Islamic rules are enforced.
We're sitting in a beautiful park here in London. How would this park look different? Would this park look different if Sharia came to the UK and your vision came to the UK?
Certainly, you know, the adult women, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, you know, will have to cover themselves, as indeed would the men.
Craig fears the growth of Sharia law in areas like East London could lead to Muslim enclaves isolated from mainstream British society.
My feeling around here is that those that don't, those that isolate themselves, those that separate themselves, is growing faster than those who what we would call progressive. A big marker for that would be the number of women, the growth of the number of women round here wearing the full face veil, the burqa, the full burqa with the face veil. And it's extraordinary how younger and younger the women get.
So could Sharia courts come to America? The idea sounds far-fetched to some. Yet according to the Center for Security Policy in Washington, there have been some 50 court cases in at least 23 states that have seen conflicts between Sharia law and American state law. And 4 states have adopted legislation called American Laws for American Courts that would protect U.S. citizens from the use of any type of foreign law like Sharia in the courtroom. Back in East London, Craig says the fight against Sharia is much more than a religious or legal issue.
It's actually a human rights thing. That's what we're doing, and we're working in partnership with non-Christians as well on this, trying to bolster and strengthen the position for Muslim women.
Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, reporting from East London.
Well, there you go. Now, you've probably got a better idea about Sharia law now than I could explain it. And as you can see, it's not very nice. The guy that was sitting in the park talking with the CBN that made that video was Amjad Chowdhury, that was his name, and he's been sent to prison a few times. He's still, I don't think he was extradited or something to America, I'm not sure, but he actually pushed he was one of the ones pushing for Sharia law in the UK very hardly, and lots of his followers are still about. But the thing is, and what's more frightening, is if you go on the TikTok or these kind of things on the social media, there's more and more preachers, young preachers, who are calling for this law to be adopted in the UK. So you can see from the first two little subjects that that I've just given to you, firstly, that they group together and form an enclave of their own. That's the first stage. Second stage is they want to work outside of British law or the law of the land that they're in. They only want their law. They say Sharia law is from God, or their God, and not man-made. Think of that as what you will. And as an example of how they blatantly now in the UK, all the time you can find many of these people that are saying the same, go onto these social media platforms and they call for Sharia law. For example, I give you I've got another, here we go. I think I've got one here. Yes. No, I'm not sure. I have got a clip somewhere. I'll try and find it for you, which I think is relevant, and I think I really do want to show you this clip. I think that's not that one. It's not that one. Let's have a look at this. This is just an example. You tell this is all done on the fly, can't you? But I'm being serious, because as the old git as I am now, I'm not Mike now, I'm the old git. As the old git I am, I've seen this happening, and the people nowadays are calling very hardly for Sharia law, and I think this is the clip I want to show. It's a very short clip, but they're all basically the same, and they're denouncing the British law and bigging up Sharia law.
Enforce the Muslims to take up their British values. Now we don't like your culture. We don't like your gambling and your homosexuality and your promiscuity and your man-made laws. We don't like that. I think what we've got is better. We'll keep to that. No thanks. We believe that Islam is the best way of life, and the Islamic way of life is the best. The Sharia is the best law, and we believe sovereignty is only for Allah. And this is why we stick firm to it.
Well, there you go. That's one of the latter day people calling for Sharia law. Now, the frightening thing for me is what's going on in the background. You know, with these close-knit Muslim areas, not just London, but in areas all over the UK, Birmingham, Luton, Bradford, Leeds, Manchester, plus many other areas. And looking on places like TikTok, I'm not used to these. I mean, I could normal names. Anyway, TikTok, Instagram, and many others. There's so many people calling for Sharia law and rejecting the law of the UK and, of course, of Europe too. So, moving on and staying with London, whose white indigenous population is vastly diminished, and I believe now that the white people in London are a minority. Just saying. But the Muslim mayor has, in my opinion, very much favoured the Muslim welfare over the top of everybody else's. And surely he should speak for all Londoners collectively, not singling out a group of Londoners in favour over the rest. And I find this man divisive, and his speeches have a dangerous undertones. I mean, Sadiq Khan is the man, the London mayor, and I think he is doing irreparable damage to the capital, England's capital, because he's not only being divisive, he's favouring Muslims. And I'm going to back up what I'm saying by, yes, of course, I'm going to show you another video of this particular man talking. Now, you make up your own mind, but I think if you listen to his speech carefully, the narrative is more about Islam and Muslims than it is about Londoners. Londoners should be spoken about as collective, and collective things should be done for the whole of London. Everybody should benefit as a London citizen. Don't single them out and make divisions, which is what he does, and very cleverly and very snidely. Listen to Sadiq Khan and you make your own mind up.
The manifesto is to help improve the lives of all Londoners. Over the last 8 years, I've sought to be a mayor for all Londoners, whether you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, member of an organised faith or not. I know many Londoners who are Muslim suffer real challenges in relation to not having their potential fulfilled because they're going hungry at school. Their parents are stressed and they're skipping meals because they're worried about how their kids are going to eat. So if I'm re-elected, I will make my groundbreaking policy of free school meals permanent, which will really make a difference. A family with one child will save £500 a year. The second big thing I know that many Londoners who are Muslim face is their children not fulfilling their potential. Often they're underemployed or in jobs that they can do better jobs, but they haven't got the skills. Every Londoner who is on low income or not working will get free training to get the skills for jobs that are created in London. Really important in this great city. The other big issue faced in Londoners, particularly Londoners of Islamic faith, is the issue of housing. And so we need to build far more homes in our city because often people from minority communities want to live near a mosque, near halal food, near places where there are other people like them. So they for a variety of obvious reasons, and they're priced out because there's not enough housing. So we're going to build at least 40,000 council homes, at least 6,000 rent control homes. And the final thing to say in relation to Londoners who are Muslim is, look, one of our strengths is our diversity. It's something I'm really proud of. I've organised, since I've been mayor, events like Eid on the Square, Ramadan Lights, and so forth. Why is that important? It gives a sense of belonging. Look, in my view, one of the reasons why Donald Trump won in 2016 was because friends of mine, people in America, were complacent, thinking that we've made progress, we're going to carry on making progress. And the frustration we had was the lack of pace in progress, and lo and behold, it went backwards. Right? I think the same's happening here. Over the last 8 years since I've been mayor, I think I've had 5 prime ministers. Cameron, May, Johnson, Truss, Sunak. That instability leads to problems, and they've also used policies to divide our communities, pitted north versus south, old versus young, some communities against the other. That's why we've got to be vigilant, and we've got to work really hard to be friends of our neighbours, provide allyship. And one of the things I'm really proud of is how Muslims and Jews work together, or Hindus and Sikhs work together, or Christians and Muslims work together, and so forth. That's a really good model. I was last night at London Citizens, and on the stage was a rabbi and a Muslim leader working together to support asylum seekers, working together with Christians and others to have more housing in London. And that's the sort of teamwork I want to see in our city. Look, I'm somebody who was a member of Parliament for 11 years and been mayor for 8 years, and I've met too many victims of crime. I've spent too much time with bereaved families. It's heartbreaking. And what I'm clear about is what are the complex causes of crime? Not excusing it, what are the causes of crime? Deprivation, poverty, alienation, lack of opportunity, and they've got worse over the last 14 years because of government cuts. So we've got to be tough on the complex causes of crime, invest in young people, invest in youth clubs, invest in after-school clubs, invest in mentoring, invest in public services. That's the causes of crime, but also we're going to be tough on crime, more police, really important to keep people safe. We're using now a public health approach. Treat violent crime like you would an infection. Treat the infection with medicine, stop it spreading, but stop the infection occurring in the first place. That's why we've got to make sure we do with prevention, as well as making sure we tackle those perpetrators. I don't think crime is inevitable. Crime is preventable.
So there you see, that's the London Mayor, the Mayor of London, Mr. Sadiq Khan, and I think that the man is a very disruptive type of person, a divisive person, and instead of following the whole of or dealing with the whole of Londoners as one group, he's making different kind of sections, shall we say. Okay, now let's turn the coin over, because now you can't tar all Muslims with the same brush. There are many Muslims who have embraced the Western way of life, integrated into society, but still kept their religious beliefs, albeit without the radical doctrine like kill all non-believers and let's go back to the 14th century. Not all Muslims are looking to take over the world. There are many who embrace the West and still follow their religion. So let's see what they have to say. Let's hear the words, not my words, but their words, of people who I call common sense Muslims. And first, I'm going to show you a couple of pictures in a minute of some guys, but I want to read this because this is sort of a normal Muslim guy off the street. His name was Mohammed Siraj Khan, and he has to say this. Now, he lived in Tehran in Iran from 2013 to 2024, but he wasn't from there, and this is what he says. These are his words, not mine. I'm reading them as he's wrote them. Why are Muslim countries always in conflict? It's not just Muslim countries. Wherever, and this is his words, not mine, wherever our dumbass fellow Muslims go, there will be a conflict. For example, my own country. Now, I understand that he's from Pakistan. He wasn't originally from Iran. They always want, in my own country, says they always want to fight with Indians saying Kashmir is ours. Well, people within Pakistan are dying out of hunger and don't have money to buy atta or vegetables. Atta is flour, just in case for the uneducated. So he says, I'll give you a few more examples. So what does he goes on to say? He says, fights with Hindus, that's Pakistan versus India. Fight with Jews, Palestine versus Israel. Fights with Christians, Nigeria, Egypt, Bosnia. Fights with Shia and Baha, that's Iran. Fights with Buddhists in China, Thailand, Vietnam. Fights with, I don't know whether this is a misspelling or this is a religion, I've never heard of it. He says fights with animists in Darfur. And he says they even fight with atheists all over the world. Okay. They also fight within the religion. Like if someone questions or wants to leave Islam or marry outside the religion, it could lead to a stoning or a honour killing. He goes on again. This is, as I say, these are not my words. These are the words of a Muslim guy. Our dumbasses don't know how to mind their own business. Always poking into somebody else's face and say everyone in the world are Islamophobic. Well, I don't believe that. I don't think we're really Islamophobic. And I think we're anti-fundamentalist. Don't answer the questions, Michael. Get on with the right. Okay, I'll do that. Okay. And every Muslim's duty is to convert people or kill the kafir, the non-believers. Again, for the uneducated, the kafir are the non-believers. So, let's move on because I want to show you this guy. It's not just that guy that says stuff. For example, we'll take this guy here. This guy who's above me over there. Yeah. He's dead. I'm not sure which one of the two it is, because they were in a group and saying it was either Fatih Aves Mehmet or Ali Abu Razek. I don't know which one it was, or if they both made this statement. But they were in Ankara, and these guys are Turkish presidential spokesmen, and they recently said that 60% of the conflicts globally are occurring in Muslim nations. Well, that's his words again, a Muslim man, not mine. Okay, so we'll take him away from there, shall we? We'll move on. Now, let's put this good-looking fellow up. This is here, Ben Habib. Good-looking fellow whose picture's showing now. Now, Ben Habib, former MEP and very successful businessman, also absolutely a British campaigner. He's unbelievably, he loves British values and culture. In fact, he's probably a better Englishman than me. He's one of my most favourite people in the world at the moment. I think he's a brilliant man. He says it the way it is. He doesn't pull his punches, and he's a member. I've got two people from Reform to speak about. He's one of them, and he's a member of the Reform Party. And boy, if he's your candidate, vote for the man. When you can in about 5 years, if we're still alive, and if we haven't destroyed the world. But never mind. See, I always digress, don't I? But there you go. That good-looking chap there, Ben Habib, and we'll take his photo down before all the ladies go mad and want a copy of the picture. All right. So a man again whose background is his father was Pakistani, his mum, I think she was English. I'm not sure. And he's embraced Britain as his country. He loves his country, and I would trust him if I was going into battle. That man, I would trust him standing by my side. Anyway, we'll just take him away. Goodbye, Ben. And here's another guy, Zia Youssef. I said there was two people from Reform, and he is the actual chairman of the fastest growing political party in the UK, Reform Party. Now, I can't, I'm not trying, I mean, I'm biased really, I've got to be truthful with you, because even though I live in Spain and I'm watching what's going on in England, I think the only chance that you've got is with this particular party. But then again, it's not for me to say. It's the fastest growing party, and he's a man on a mission to make the UK great. Now, assimilate in the Western society, enjoy it. It's a freedom to be yourself. But the final word for today is going to be left to a guy named Leha. I can't pronounce his name. I'm terrible at these pronunciations. Why can't they have a name like Colin? Colin would do for me. A man with a kind of say it all in one little clip video. I know his second name is Ahmed, and it's Leha, whatever. But this man says it all. This is the man for me that that everybody, Muslim and non-Muslim, should listen to. So, listen to Mr. Ahmed. There you go, Mr. Ahmed, we'll call him that. Here we go.
Dear Muslims, the world is scared of us. The world is laughing at us. The world is worried about us. And there are legitimate reasons for their worry that we cannot just deny. It is time to flush the word Islamophobia down the toilet and start looking in the mirror and ask ourselves, how did we get here? How come the biggest and most dangerous thriving terrorist organization in the world are Muslim? How come terrorists successfully use Islam to mobilize more terrorists? What is the problem with our leaders, our books, our imams, and our religion? Why do we keep repeating these Stone Age traditions that have failed us and continue to fail us? The world has left us behind. The kuffar that our imams and books tell us to hate have traveled to the future. while we're still stuck in the Middle Ages, reading stories about Muhammad and his flying horse. You're watching this on your phone or your computer or tablet, created by these kuffars. The same kuffar that we hate so much have created most of the medicines that we use today. Medicine that our religion's crystal ball failed to bring about. The kuffar have moved forward and traveled into space. Meanwhile, we're stuck on Earth in the Middle Ages, going to our poisonous mosques every Friday, reciting the same chapters and the same stories of Prophet Muhammad. Why haven't all of these books and teachings led us to science and technology and medicine? We're stuck debating which sect is correct, which interpretation is correct, who is the kafir and who is the real Muslim. How can we convince the kuffar to become Muslims? Why on earth would anybody want to be Muslim today? They're all scared of us. They're all laughing at us. They're all worried about us. Delete Israel and the West from the world and we would still be as ignorant as we are, and we would still be stabbing each other as we are. Stop blaming them and look at yourselves in the mirror.
Well, there you go. That's the man himself. Can't pronounce his name, but the words that he said are absolutely true. There should be more people posting on social media and places like that man. Now, that's all I've got time for. I've overrun a little bit. I usually try and just do just under half an hour, but I've done a little bit longer on my new camera. And I got to say, it hasn't flickered once. But it hasn't made me any better looking, but hey, what can you do? You can't have it all, can you? So, all I've got to say now, people, is think on and get in touch when you can. Don't forget, I put the thing down there, contact. It says contact by X, or Twitter as I still call it, and it's best before T. And if you go there, you can send me a message, make a comment. If you want to watch this video, you can watch it on many places. They still let me post on YouTube. I love Rumble. You can go there. I put it on X and wherever. You can have a watch of it. As I say, I do all myself. Sorry for the mistakes. And if you've heard the background noise, because there's people speaking outside, and it's damn well now, the temperature, I'm just looking over it, it's gone up to 28 degrees now, so it's nice and hot out there. I could close the windows, put the air conditioner on, but I like the warm waft of air coming in. So until the next time, people, stay safe, and hopefully I will see you very, very soon. And watch my videos. Bye.